All right, let's see if I'm live. I should be live for the world to see. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Sir Hunt's Reviews. In this live stream, I'm going to be talking about dragons and, more importantly, crocodiles. I'm just kidding. We're going to be talking what's going to happen in House of the Dragon Season 2 according to Fire and Blood. Now, obviously, with this being an adaptation, things could change. Things could be rearranged, but I'm going to go by what I know, which is the source material. Real quick, I did a GoFundMe for a new laptop. Like, this is stationary up here. This is a PC I built like 5 years ago. Not only do I need a new laptop, but it's also like this computer is probably going to be going out pretty soon, at least components of it, right? But obviously don't feel the need to donate if you can't. I don't even think I linked it in this description. It's just something that will sort of, any amount of money that's donated there, I'll put towards the laptop. I'll probably end up paying for most of it with my own money once I save that up. But that's besides the point. I just wanted to thank Claudia and Max for donating to that. They donated like literally within 30 minutes of me posting that. So thank you. Also, I'll be doing a giveaway for this here drawing of Ramsay Bolton. I know I am a jackass for not remembering the artist, but the artist did sign it. This is some official art. I don't know who that is. It was a long time ago. But it is Ramsay Bolton. And all you have to do to win this bad right? It's pretty badass. Those are King Corsos. Those are Ramsay's owns, right? Got the flayed man behind him. Only thing you have to do to win this, and I'll send it to you just like this. It's like printed on cardboard. Holy shit, I just wrinkled it. Damn. And I just said the S word. Probably already demonetized anyway. But yeah, all you have to do to win that, initially I tried to give it away on Twitter. If the tweet that I sent that out had 35 likes by the end of the day, I was going to give it to somebody that liked that, but no one liked it. It got like 11 likes, right? But it makes more sense to actually give it away during this live stream. So at some point, probably about halfway through, I'm going to just go through the chat. You have to be subscribed. You have to be watching the whole time. The way I can tell you're a subscriber on YouTube is if you have your subscriptions public, right? That's pretty much it. Just be a subscriber of mine. Be watching right now. Make sure you please slap a like on this. It really helps out my channel. Still being shadow banned. Look at the last couple of videos I've uploaded. The view count is not even a half of what I was getting a week ago during the season. I put just as much time and energy into the video. So it's definitely the algorithm being like, okay, let's cut this dude off completely. So I ask you, subscribe, please slap a like on it. And this time you actually get something. You actually get something for doing that. All right. Let's see. I have some questions that I will be addressing from my patrons. But I want to go through some of the things first, right? So let's talk about blood and cheese. Oh, yeah. Also, happy birthday to fucking Elliot Tittenzor and Luke Tittenzor. They follow me on Instagram. They're the Cargill twins. Go tell them happy birthday. I think they're like a little bit older than I am, so they're old as hell now. Make sure you go tell them that they're old men. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I don't know. Not sure what year they. I could look it up real quick. Let's see how old they are. 1989. All right, so they're a year older than I am. Actually, just a few months. Yeah, they're 33. All right, I had to think and do the math of how old I am. You go tell those dudes a happy birthday. Real quick before I jump into talking about blood and cheese, let me go ahead and give everybody who's watching right now live a shout out if you're typing in the chat. So if you haven't typed in the chat and you're watching live, please do so I can give you a shout out. Pop out the chat. Participants. Let's see. Shout out to Cool Nitsky, Mad Jack, Riley Rains, the North Must Remember, the Couch Stallion, Zeus Bemnet, Frenchy, Dennis Sorensen. What's up, buddy? Frenchy, you should be a mod. I thought I already did that. Did I not do that? Let me do that right now. Where'd the chat go? There it is. Add moderator. Sorry about that, French. You should have been a mod a long time ago. You joined my Patreon like months ago. Thank you. Shout out to, let's see, ML7. What's up, buddy? You were like the first one here. And Claudia Harras, thank you. Both of y'all are members of my Patreon as well. Paul Bailey, Mad Jack, John Haymaker. What's up, dude? The Couch Stallion. And I think that's it. Monica Rodriguez. Ryan Jackson. I got everybody, I think, that's typing right now. So thank you all for watching this now. And anybody who's watching this live, please leave a comment down below. Consider checking out my Patreon. That is basically, like, this stream is probably already demonetized. Patreon, eventually, when I reach the goal of $1,500 a month, I know that sounds like a lot, but when you upload, as often as I do, 20 videos, you spend 6 hours roughly on each videos, between 4 to 6 hours on each videos. That's like 40 hours a week. So really, it's not that much in my opinion, but that's like just enough to cover my bills. So if I can make that much off of Patreon, I don't have to worry about YouTube at all. I don't have to worry about them demonetizing my videos. I'll literally upload whatever I feel like making, whatever you all want to see, right? So right now I have to be very specific about what I upload, because even though I'm making season 2 prediction videos, the algorithm is still shadow banning the shit out of it. I don't know what the is going on. So Patreon is my way to not worry about that. I spend a lot of time and energy into these videos, and I'm literally always studying A Song of Ice and Fire. So if you like my content, consider checking out my Patreon. And if not, thank you for watching here on YouTube, and thank you for liking and subscribing. So Blood and Cheese, it's going to be pretty gnarly scene. One of the things that I think is going to be interesting is that this will have to happen immediately, first or second episode, maybe even opening scenes. They've been setting it up since episode 5. We saw at the very end of that episode when, you know, obviously Rhaenyra and Laena are having their wedding reception, and then Kristen Cole beats the crap out of the Knight of Kisses, right? Joffrey Lonmouth literally gave him a long mouth. In that episode, at the very end, Rhaenyra and Laena do end up getting married. And once they get married, it's like they're crying, right? The camera sort of pans out, goes all the way to the back. We see the pile of blood that was left after Joffrey Lonmouth was beaten to death. And there's a rat that walks up to that and then starts licking at the blood. And I've mentioned that like 6 times, but that's Blood and Cheese, right? So just going a little bit further back in the timeline that House of the Dragon is in, it's kind of interesting because there was this disease that was said to be brought on by rats. So cats were, it was during a winter during Jaehaerys and Alicent's reign, and they lost some children to that. But ultimately, rats were said to be the cause of why the plague was spreading. So cats ended up costing as much as a brand new palfrey, which is a brand new horse. It was insane during that time. But anyway, Blood and Cheese, right? There's a rat catcher that's hired. This rat catcher is not just any rat catcher. He specifically is hired because he knows the inner workings of Maegor's Holdfast, those tunnels underneath the Red Keep that Daemon and Rhaenyra used to, you know, sneak out into the city with. Also, there's this other dude, Blood, who lost his gold cloak. He was hired by Daemon for the gold cloaks, but he beat the crap out of a woman, so he lost his gold cloak for doing that. So the two of them, that rat catcher named Cheese, and then Blood, the dude from the gold cloaks, is hired by Mysaria via Daemon, who's at Harrenhal. On the TV show, he's going to be still probably Dragonstone, or departs for Harrenhal after telling Rhaenyra, you know, he's going to take care of it. They end up sneaking through the tunnels of Maegor's Holdfast into Helena's chambers. When they do that, they slay the guardsmen that are watching her, and then they hold them captive, and they make her choose. In the TV show, it looks like we've only seen Jaehaera and Jaehaerys, the two twins, and they're supposed to be Aegon's children, but we haven't seen their youngest son, Maelor. Maelor has to be included on the show because Maelor is used in a scene with Bitterbridge where he's literally ripped apart. So I feel like Maelor has to be included, or maybe I guess they could do that to Jaehaera after Jaehaerys is killed. Who knows, right? Jaehaera ends up marrying Aegon III, but nothing comes from that union because she ends up killing herself by jumping out of the window, which is how her mother died. So Helaena, that's how Helaena dies. It's kind of funny. The first time we see Helaena on House of the Dragon, Alicent is holding her in front of a window. Really tragic, right? But Blood and Cheese are like, look, we're not we're savages, but we're not that savage. Pick which one of us you want us to kill of your children, right? So Helena, thinking that Maelor, being the youngest, wouldn't realize what the hell is going on, she goes, Maelor. Then they look at Maelor and they say, you hear that, boy? Your mama wants you dead. And then they kill Jaehaerys, who is King Aegon's heir, right? So in the books, Aegon is pretty riled up by this. He ends up like going deeper into his cups. He drinks more and he's really furious about this. He ends up trying to immediately get back at Rhaenyra, right? In the TV show, it'll be interesting to see how Aegon to Tom Glencairn handles that. Maybe he could literally care less. He could be like, well, not care less, but just maybe if they're actually Aemon's kids, this is what gives Aemon, more hatred towards Daemon and what makes him vicious. Because when he takes Harrenhal, he puts everyone to the sword. So if that's something that's going to happen in the TV show, Aemon's going to have this evolution of becoming more and more evil. And one of the things that could happen is Jaehaerys, who's his actual child, because remember, he told Aegon on the show, like, I would do my duty, because if I were in your place, I would marry my sister, totally have sex with her, no problem, right? That's how awesome Aemon is, right? He's like, it's our job to keep our blood pure. So that's that, along with the fact that he's hanging out with Helena. The fact that Helena doesn't really get along with Aegon, it kind of makes sense that Aemon would be their father. So it'll be interesting to see how Aegon takes this news, how Aemon takes this news, and ultimately it'll be tragic to watch how insanely distraught Helena's going to be. I'm pretty sure Fia Saban, the actress playing her, is going to be like amazing in that scene. It's gonna be really tragic. It's one of the most tragic moments of really, I guess you could say, of the books, right? Of Fire and Blood. There's a lot more tragic stuff that happens in there, but for the TV show, it's gonna be one of the most tragic. I don't know how it's gonna be more tragic than Lucerys accidentally being killed by Aemon and Vhagar. That's pretty fucking tragic, right? But this moment, if handled correctly, will be like one of the most tragic moments in the story. It's said that literally after the death of Jaehaerys and after the death of Lucerys, that's when the war really takes a new turn. Because before that, it's a war of ravens. Like Sir Otto Hightower is trying to get as many people as possible to pledge their fealty to King Aegon the Older, and the very similar thing is happening with Rhaenyra and Daemon. Daemon goes and takes Harrenhal, but Daemon takes a few different castles. He takes the Bracken's castle, and he's famous for not killing anyone. He takes hostages because he knows that they can be ransomed for money, or just, for a better strategic military standpoint in the war. Aemon, not so much. Like I said, puts everyone to the sword. But that's still a war of ravens, because Daemon literally lands Caraxes on one of the top spires in Harrenhal and then takes everyone captive. He doesn't kill anybody. He doesn't put anybody to the sword. So it shows how awesome of a military commander he is. Also, around this time, when Daemon does take Harrenhal, when Blood and Cheese happens, we should be meeting Queen Titty Milk Alice Rivers. She's supposed to be a witch. She's supposed to be around 40 years old. She may have even been the milk mother for Larry's the Clubfoot and Harwin Strong, and then is still like fed countless babies at Harrenhal. And then, Aemon's going to sleep with her. I mentioned how they already have Larry's, right? Clubfoot, right? Having a foot fetish. Wouldn't it be dope if Aemon had Sweet Robin's affliction of loving titty milk, and he just doesn't even know about it yet, right? It'll be pretty interesting to see who's cast as Alice Rivers. I'm really excited to see that. Like, obviously, there's been rumors of, Elizabeth Olsen playing that character. I haven't really... obviously, I don't want her to play that character. I've said this strongly, and apparently there's a million people who disagree with me, but I'll do it. I'll go on this rant. I'll say it. British people cannot do convincing American accents to my ears. I've lived all over the United States, right? I know a real solid accent. I can do most United States accents, like all of them, right? The same thing for Americans trying to do British accents. I've never lived in England. I know for the most part where someone's accent comes from in general specific, right? There's so many different accents of England, right? But Americans, for the most part, cannot convincingly do a British accent. And then when I said that in my video, people were like, oh, you know, Tyrion, Peter Dinklage. Yeah, I know he's from New Jersey, but also when you're first watching the show, it's good. And then after time of like watching you know, that's what kind of fucked me is the audiobooks. Roy Dotrice does all of the accents of the British Isles, of the UK, right? And he does them so good. When you hear an American or anybody else, or Peter Dinklage Tyrion in particular, it's awful. It's terrible, right? Peter Dinklage's acting is what saved the accent. But that's just my opinion. Who gives a shit? My opinion is like a butthole. Everybody has one. It stinks, right? So that's just my opinion. But I hope whoever plays Alice Rivers is English. I hope she's an English woman, because, well, you know, the accent won't then take me out. And we have a bad taste in our mouth from accents with House of the Dragon, right? I think this is, most people sort of agree with this, right? I don't even have to say it. Misery the White Worm. Misery is what my ears scream when she's on screen with that Jamaican, call me now for your free tarot reading. Miss Cleo, French, I guess Melisandre is mixed in with that. I don't know. The accent's crazy. They need to just nix that and pretend she had a stroke at the end of season 1 and it fixed her accent. All right. But yeah, I went too hard on the accent thing. I forgot what I was talking about, the points that I was making. It's hard for someone who's not from a place to do an accent. And the same for British people. If you've never spent time in America, very few British people have convincingly done an English, like, sorry, not English, but a new age American accent. Like, they'll usually sound like they're from the same time period if they do one. Like, so if it's something from the 1800s or something, or 1900s, whatever. Let's actually talk about some you know, other things other than that. Let's see here. This next image, and this brings me up to the second thing that will likely be happening in House of the Dragon Season 2, the calling of the dragon seed. So these dragons right here are, I believe the one on the far left is Cannibal, the one in the middle is Grey Ghost, and then the one on the far right is obviously Sheep Stealer. There's some sheeps below it, although it does look kind of weirdly red in this image. That's supposed to be brown. Also, that's the artist, you know, rendition of it. These images are from the Rise of the Dragon, which I still have not got my copy in the mail. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I mean, I know the book is popular, but this is ridiculous. This is like a week after the book came out. I haven't gotten it yet. So I had to pull these images from offline. So basically what ends up happening is, after Lucerys dies, before Rhaenyra takes King's Landing, before the Battle of the Gullet, which is the next thing I want to be talking about, according to Mushroom, it was his idea, right? So Mushroom basically says, why don't you all get some more dragon riders? And then he's asked, how? Where would we find new dragon riders? And Mushroom says, why, wherever you Targaryens have spilled your silver seed, which for generations, Targaryens would sleep with peasants on Dragonstone, and these offspring would be known as dragon seeds. And some of these characters that we're going to see ride dragons are actually, may not even be their direct parent was a Targaryen. They may actually be sons of those initial dragon seeds. So on Dragonstone, when that would happen, when a Targaryen would sleep with a fisherman's wife or just whoever and give them, you know, a bastard Targaryen, it would be celebrated. Those bastards would be praised. They would be given lavish gifts. They would sometimes even be given land and stuff. Like, for instance, Rhae's Baratheon is a bastard of Aegon the Conqueror's father. So Orys is Aegon's half brother, and Aegon made him his first hand. So there's a long history of celebrating dragon seed. So basically, Jacaerys is like, look, anybody who can claim a dragon, you will immediately be made a knight, and you'll be giving honors and titles, and you can come fight for the Blacks, right? So all of those dragon seeds end up fighting in the Battle of the Gullet. So we've got several different ones, right? So these three dragons that I'm showing you right here, right? The one on the far left, Cannibal. You can see the bones of the little baby dragonlings that it eats right there. Oh, fuck. Right there. Right? Cannibal, according to the small folk on Dragonstone, may have been around before Aegon's great ancestor, Aenar the Exile, came over with those 5 dragons and Dany's the Dreamer, right? That's probably not the case. Cannibal is probably not going to be bigger than Blair and the Black Dread, or bigger than Vhagar, but no one ever rides Cannibal. So Cannibal just kind of dies off, right? And then the other one, Grey Ghost. Grey Ghost is killed by Sunfire when Aegon 2, this would be like season 3 or season 4, when Aegon 2 escapes King's Landing and goes to Dragonstone. Like, Lord Larys is the one who comes up with this idea, because he basically says, like, why would Rhaenyra look for you where her home base is? She would never think to look there. So, Aegon 2 and Sunfire go there, and in him going there, Sunfire gets in a fight with Grey Ghost and kills Grey Ghost, and then ultimately no one thinks anything of it because everyone assumes that it was Cannibal that did it, right? And then lastly, we have Sheepstealer. Sheepstealer is mounted by a dragon seed known as Nettles. Now, there's a really silly theory, right, that Nettles is a child of the forest. I don't know where that came from. Someone commented on my video and they said it was such arrogance and such confidence that I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've read Fire and Blood multiple times. I've never even thought that Nettles, the brown girl, is a witch. I guess you could say that because Nettles was smart, people were like, oh yeah, she's a witch, right? But then also at the end, Nettles' story, when after Daemon dies, she goes and supposedly lives the rest of her life in the mountains of the Vale, worshipped as a woods witch, and the Burned Men, who are a mountain clan of the Vale, basically descendants of the First Men. They end up worshiping her. They find her in the woods. They find her dragon in particular, Sheepstealer, and they would like end up offering up parts of themselves to test their bravery. And like if they got burned, they would be considered, men. So I mentioned this before, but Timett has his eye burned out in the show, and he's also like in the books, obviously, but he's a burned man, so he descends from them. But I guess that, along with the fact that people think that maybe she enchanted the sheep, I don't know. It's really stupid in my opinion. But Nettles is just probably will be a dragon seed via Corliss, maybe, right? Basically what she does is Sheepstealer is a wild dragon. It's never been ridden. So this is why Nettles feeds its sheep, because she allows the dragon to grow accustomed to her presence by slaughtering sheep and feeding it to her and then just standing there, right? That's why she does it. Not because she's doing a magic ritual. It's because she's literally taming the dragon. It's how she has to do it, right? So she ends up doing that so much to the point where Nettles trusts her presence. Sheepstealer trusts her presence, and Nettles eventually mounts her. So then Nettles rides Sheepstealer. That's the other dragon right there. So then there's three more main dragon seeds, right? So Ulf the White ends up mounting Silverwing, who is the dragon that was ridden by the good Queen Alysanne. So that's the wife of Jaehaerys. People always say, did you say Alicent? No, Alysanne. So I'll try to say it funny. Alysanne. She's the one who rides Silverwing. Silverwing is now in the Dance of the Dragons, after Alysanne dies, is ridden by this dude, Ulf the White, who is another dragon seed, another bastard. Now, what's interesting is that we're given some circumstances about what happens to some of these people who could potentially be dragon seeds and try to tame a dragon. Not every single one of them is able to do it, right? Adam of Hall's brother, Alan Oakenfist, he ends up getting burned trying to mount, if I'm not mistaken, Sheepstealer. His brother, Adam of Hall, ends up mounting Laenor's dragon, Sea Smoke. So it's not necessarily an easy thing to just be like, oh yeah, I got bloated dragon, I'm gonna claim one. It's not quite that simple. It's kind of like, this is why Nettles has to do what she does. It'll be interesting to see how they depict Nettles. If they'll give her the silver hair, if they'll make her have brown hair. Potentially, sometimes when Targaryens mix with houses that have blood of the First Men, their kids' hair is dark. Jon Snow, Rhaegar and Lyanna, right? Lyanna's obviously blood of the First Men from being up north. Rhaegar's blood of the dragon. Jon Snow has dark hair. The TV show, this one, House of the Dragon. Your boy Harwin is from House Strong. House Strong is one of the only houses south of the Neck to still claim blood of the First Men. The rest of them are mostly Andals. The Stormlands, House Baratheon in particular, House Durrandon originally, they had blood of the First Men as well, and then they eventually mixed with the Andals. So they intermarried. So they have a mix of the blood of the First Men and the Andals. But House Strong in particular, alongside the Blackwoods, are one of the few houses south of the Neck who have First Men blood and worship the gods of the North, the many faces, or the lost named the many forgotten names of the gods of the north. Like, I forget how the saying goes, but basically, House Blackwood is also one of those houses, and then you also have House Strong, and in particular, House Blackwood burns Bracken Seps because the Brackens are Andals, and the Bracken Blackwood feud that we saw, on this TV show when Sam Blackwood killed the Bracken fellow, which is actually interesting because in the books it's the other way around. The Bracken dude wins the duel, and Sam Blackwood is the one who loses. But we'll see that feud carry on because I'm pretty sure we're going to see some Blackwoods burning, some Seps, particularly on the Brackens. Because whatever. What was I just talking about? Claiming the dragon. Oh yeah, so it's not as simple to claim the dragons. So off the white mount Silverwing. Silverwing is Alison's dragon. And then also you have Hugh Hammer. Hugh Hammer mounts Vermithor. We saw Vermithor being set up in House of the Dragon, season 1, episode 10. Vermithor, Hugh Hammer is the son of a blacksmith, so he's this big burly dude. I think Henry Cavill would be a good casting choice for him. Obviously, not everybody agrees with that. Hopefully they just get someone who fits the role. So it's supposed to be like a big, not quite as big as the mountain, but just a big intimidating dude. He rides a big badass dragon. So it'd be really cool to see that. So all of those dragons, also Adam of Hull, claim Sea Smoke. Adam of Hull and Alan Oakenfist, Alan of Hull. Adam and Alan are brothers, and they come forth during the calling of the dragon seeds. And not only does Adam of Hull claim Laenor's old dragon Sea Smoke, but also Corlys petitions to have them legitimized as members of House Velaryon after Jacaerys and Lucerys die, because remember, they're members of House Velaryon, so he doesn't have any heirs at that point. And he only does it after Rhaenys dies, which is another thing that'll be happening in season 2 for sure. Has to. It might even be at the very end, but the Battle of Rook's Rest, right? So let's talk about the Battle of the Gullet, because that's crazy. So this will be the battle where the most... Did I get a picture of that? No, I didn't. This is Blood and Cheese. It's another image for Blood and Cheese. This is from Rise of the Dragon, but this is from Fire and Blood. This is Doug Wheatley. I'm not sure who did this one. Or that one. No, this is Renee Augier. I remember that because I shared this. This is one of the first images we got from Rise of the Dragon. Doug Wheatley. I'll just leave this up for while I'm talking about the Battle of the Gullet. So in the beginning of the war, both claimants, Aegon the Older, Aegon II, and Rhaenyra, flew the 3-headed red dragon on a black field. But then by the end of 129 AC, Rhaenyra ends up switching over, right? And she quarters her banner. This is a really badass depiction of it. This is from Rise of the Dragon. She's got, obviously, her 2 Targaryen sigils, right? 3-headed dragon. That's the book-accurate version of what the Targaryen sigil looks like. Looks way more badass than the show version. But anyway, then you also have the Falcon of Arryn up top for the right for her mother, and then the Seahorse down left for Laenor Velaryon, her first husband. And then Aegon II, because of Sunfire, takes the golden standard. So he literally puts the 3-headed dragon of the Targaryens, right? Makes it gold for his dragon Sunfire, who's the most beautiful dragon of all time to ever have existed, and then puts it on the black field. So this is by the end of 129 AC. This is what their standards look like. And I hope the show goes for a more book accurate version like this version, because it looks really, really good. I love it. Badass. So what happens in the Battle of the Gullet, right? This is where, in my opinion, season 2 should end at. So you open with Blood and Cheese halfway through Rook's Rest, and then the Battle of the Gullet, because then Rhaenyra could take King's Landing at the beginning of season 2, or maybe even the last episode. Like, she flies out to go take it in the last episode of season 2, and then holds it for an entire season. She's known as the half-year queen, so that'd be all of season 3, and then sells her crown to go back to Dragonstone, and then, well, no, because then her death would be too short. So maybe she holds King's Landing for like a season and a half or something. All right. So what ends up happening is Daemon, it's noted that Daemon during his travels made more enemies than friends. Let me check the chat to see if I missed any super chat or anything. Definitely. don't want because they'll disappear after a while. All right, cool. So continue talking amongst yourselves, please. I'm gonna be jumping in the chat as soon as I finish this little bit, and then I jump on the patron stuff. So basically, Damon makes more enemies than friends. Sir Otto takes advantage of that. He sends word to the Triarchy, and the Triarchy sends 90 ships to go and break Corlys Valarion's stranglehold on the Gullet. Because remember, that's the first thing that he said he was going to do. He had actually already did that by the end of season 1. So he moves his ship in a position to cut off all trade and all commerce to King's Landing. So nobody's going in, nobody's going out, right? But Sir Otto calls to the Triarchy, who hates Damon. Remember, Damon made many enemies down in the Stepstones, and they send a bunch of war fleets over to come and smash Corlys from the other side. So, Dragonstone is not that far from the Gullet. So all of these new dragon seeds join Jacaerys, right? So you have Jacaerys on Veermax. Then you have Ulf the White on Silverwing. Then you have Hugh Hammer on Vermithor. Then you have Nettles on Sheepstealer. Then you have Adam of Hull on motherfucking Sea Smoke. And all of them go and smash the Triarchy. The Battle of the Gullet is the most bloodiest battle fought at sea in Westerosi history. It's among the most bloodiest. But, George wrote Fire and Blood after he wrote World of Ice and Fire, and a Game of Thrones, and a Clash of Kings, and a Storm of Swords, and a Feast for Crows, and a Dance with Dragons, and Winds of Winter, and a Dream of Spring. He wrote Fire and Blood after all that. So he just has to say the Battle of the Gullet is amongst the most bloodiest. But it is. It is. That's so many dragons. That's like 5 dragons burning ships. And it's awesome, right? It's known as Corlys's victory. But what happens in that fight is the Triarchy is used to fighting Daemon down in the Stepstone. So every single one of their ships is equipped with ballistas. And they're shooting bolts and turrets and arrows. But guess what? Dragons are fast. So it doesn't matter. They start roasting their ships. The ships go ablaze. And the battle is going to be intense. We're probably never going to see this many dragons on screen except for this moment. This will be the reason why season 2 will inevitably take longer than it's supposed to because of this happening. It's going to be insane. I can't wait. All of those dragons are fighting for the Blacks. So it's just a roast fest. Mind you, they could cut 1 or 2 dragons from it, but we need at least 3. We need at least 4 dragons. There definitely has to be Jacaerys and Veermax, and then Adam. And, I guess Adam could potentially be Laenor, but Sea Smoke, Veermax, Nettles, and Vermithor have to take place in this battle. They may give Silverwing to Rhaena. Rhaena's dragon is too small to ride right now, so she could go claim Silverwing. I don't know if she can't claim Vermithor. Maybe, I guess. It just Vermithor and Silverwing. The old king and queen's mount, who are ridden by Hugh Hammer, rides Vermithor, and then Ulf the White rides Silverwing. Ultimately, they betray after the Battle of the Gullet and go and fight for the Greens, right? And when they do that, it's a giant blow to Rhaenyra. So I don't think Rhaena should fly Vermithor because Rhaena's not going to betray the Blacks. It would make no sense for her to do that. So it would make sense if they made one of the dragons a betrayer, Hugh Hammer, right? And the big dragon, and then, just left Rhaena and Silverwing. So ultimately, at the end of this, Silverwing survives it all and goes and lives out in Red Lake and becomes a wild dragon. So after the battle heats up and everything's going crazy initially, Veermax is really fast and really strong. So those two things play a part in Jacaerys and Veermax's death. So Veermax flies over this one ship where this dude is up on the top on the crow's nest, I guess, and he's got this ballista, but the ballista has a chain on it. So he shoots that ballista, and because Veermax is flying so hard and so fast and so strong, the bolt gets buried deeper. The bolt with the chain attached to it from the ballista from the Triarchy member who shot it from the Triarchy ship at Veermax. Because Veermax is going so fast, initially, I guess it would have bounced off, but it gets trapped in between like its scale and then just gets embedded in there and then guts Veermax. Guts it all open. And then it's hot, gushing, steaming blood causes Veermax and Jacaerys to crash into the water. And then Jacaerys survives. Jacaerys is fine. He's at float in the water. Veermax is dead as hell, but Jacaerys is okay, right? He's floating there, and he's like, we're probably gonna see the actor like try to grab shit around him and stay afloat. But then, oh no, the Triarchy isn't done. They come out, right, with their crossbowmen, and they start shooting Jace dead in the water. He gets shot like 15 times, and the last bolt takes him through the neck, and he just dies right there. Initially, he survives his dragon crashing into the water, though. Those damn Mirrormen, those damn Triarchy members kill our boy Jace. So that's what happens at the Battle of the Gullet. But then ultimately they win because there's so many dragons, right? And Corlys is told, hey, you won. This is your victory. Good job, dude. And Corlys is quoted as saying, if this is, I don't ever want to taste it again, right? Because he lost so much during this attack. It's insane. The Battle of the Gullet, in my opinion, should be how season 2 wraps up. It's the bloodiest battle in history. Naval battles, right? There's obviously some land battles that are probably bloodier, but at sea, it'd be cool if we got to see a Kraken get summoned, you know, because a dragon goes down. There's all that blood, hot blood in the open water. Maybe a Kraken will show up. I'm just kidding. All right, so let's jump into. Wait, was that all my notes? I think it was blood and cheese, dragon seeds, Battle of the Gullet. Daemon taking Harrenhal. Already talked about that. Alice Rivers. Okay, so we've been live streaming for 36 minutes, 38 seconds. We've got 120 people watching right now. Thank you all so much for watching. Please slap a like on this. Consider checking out my Patreon. I want to do a giveaway, right? So type in the chat right now if you're watching this live. I'm about to pick a name from the chat. This is Ramsay Bolton. And if you don't like Ramsay, you could burn it. You could win this and have it sent to you, and then you could burn it, right? So this is about to be given away right now. Let's do this. All right. Let's see who's in the chat. All right. I'm just scanning people who are in the chat right now. Please type if you want to win this Ramsay drawing. All right. All right. So how I will do this is I am thinking of a number between 1 and 420. Because weed, 420. That's also the like goal for this live stream. If you can type in the chat a number between 1 and 420 and you get it right, I'm going to pick your username. You have to be subscribed. If I pick your username to win this and I go and click on your profile and you're not subscribed, I'm going to pick somebody else. So make sure you're subscribed. That is the bare minimum that you have to do. Also, please slap a like on the live stream. All right. Let's see. All right. We got numbers coming in. Let's do this. Everybody thinks the number is going to be 420. You think it's going to be 4? Do you think I'm going to make it that easy? No way. Okay, so I'm about to do 2 giveaways because y'all are going to think I'm making this shit up, right? So the number is 3, right? And the person who picked the number is Claudia M. And if I'm not mistaken, Claudia M is the one who donated $100 to my GoFundMe yesterday. So I'm not even about to be a bullshit type dude. Claudia M, you won this. Thank you for donating. If that's you, to my GoFundMe. If not, let me know, Claudia M. I'm about to give away something else right now because that's crazy. And I don't want y'all to think that I just picked her because she donated to my GoFundMe. All right, let's see what else we got up in this motherfucker. I can't give away my maps. All right, I'll do this. This is a painting that I made myself. I made this myself. I used some cotton swabs, cotton balls, and then I made a galaxy painting, right? And then I took a paintbrush, layered it in a few different colors of paint, and then flicked it, and that's what made those little stars and stuff, right? So, actually, it was a makeup brush. That's what it was, makeup brush, not a cotton. Anyway, so Claudia M, you fucking won this. If that's you who donated to my GoFundMe, I swear to God that wasn't a coincidence, but I'm not about to lie and act like I didn't pick 3. 3 is just, I don't know. You said it. That's crazy. That is insane. All right, so we're doing another giveaway right now. This is a hand paint. Okay, so this is a digital print, but it's on cardboard. Okay, this is hand painted by me. I painted this. I'm gonna do the same thing. Don't pick 3 because that's not going to be the number. So now thinking of a number between 1 and 420. Okay, let's do this. Say some numbers. Let's do this. And if you're watching this afterwards and you missed this giveaway, make sure you tone your notifications on so that you're here next time. I'm just kidding. I know everybody can't manage to be here. Obviously, everybody's got shit to do. 69. Close. Close. Someone said 420 again. Come on, don't say 420 again. 69. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything about 69 being close. Come on. I see it. I see a couple of people in the range of the number. Tree fitty. John Haymaker says it's tree fitty. So close. Come on. Yes, in that, please keep going. Say all the numbers. The next person that gets the right one is going to get it. It's right there. No, it's not in the 80s. It's in the 70s. It's between 70 and 79. 96. 73. No. Come on. Somebody's got to say it. Tree fitting. That is not the number, Mark Anthony. Come on. How can nobody get this yet? 77. Rafael Luna. Fuck yeah, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 77. I can't believe it. I was like, oh my God, they're going to get it because I fucking said 69 was close. Rafael Luna, you just won a painting by me. And guess what? Guess what? Rafael is a member of my Patreon. So 2 people from my Patreon have won both of these things, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But guess what? There has to be a random person winning this giveaway, so I'm going to do it for one more. Holy shit, Sir Hunts has lost his fucking mind. One more painting. Jesus. All right, so these 2 are my favorites. All right. So Rafael Luna, Claudia M, y'all. Rafael, you won this. You know how to get in touch with me. Instagram, Patreon. Claudia, same. Please get in touch with me right here. The last giveaway that I'm about to do right now, live, right? Okay, so I did this Targaryen sigil, right? This is done in Sharpie. It's a painting of my girlfriend. I'm obviously not giving that away. Daenerys. This initially looked really good, but then I painted it and messed it up. So I feel bad giving that away. Made that for my son's room. All right, so it's between these 2. And technically, I've given digital copies of these away to my patrons. So my patrons cannot. All right, so we'll do obviously Targaryen sigil. That makes the most sense. So I'm thinking of another number. This will be the last time, between 1 and 420, right? So we've already got Rafael and Claudia winning these, right? So the Targaryen sigil, type in the chat between 1 and 420. 77 and 3 cannot be chosen, right? So I've already thought of the number right now. Type the numbers in the chat. I don't have any more art that looks as good as this. I'm sorry. Not that I can give away. Like I have my thing back there of Jon Snow and Daenerys, but I'm definitely not giving that away. All right. I'm going to pick this one quick. Whoever gets closest to it. You know what? I'm going to be fair. All of these numbers have been in the one that I'm thinking of now between 1 and 100. So the 1 and 420 thing is funny, but just pick a number between 1 and 100. And it's for the Targaryen sigil. I even signed it. I made this during the pandemic. I wish 666 was between 1 and 100 because that's another good one. That was my total the other day at TVS, and the person was like, do you want me to ring up something else? I was like, are you asking me if I want you to charge me more money so that my total isn't 666? And then I just laughed and was like, ha ha ha. Yeah, please ring up the pack of gum or something cheap. I'm just kidding. I was like, I don't give a shit. It's funny. Doesn't happen all the time. All right. Closest one. Closest one. I already see one that's pretty close. So I'll give 10 more seconds. It's between 1 and 100. I see one that's close right now. I'm going to keep my mouse hovering over that so I don't lose it. And already did. Between 1 and 100. Random number. Where the hell did your thing go, my dude? Between 1 and 100. All right, I see someone else that's really close. Between 1 and 100 to win this hand-drawn, it's Sharpie and pencil and I think pen, maybe. But it's just Sharpie and, you know. Okay. Now I'll have to double check. All right. I'll have to double check that this person is not a member of my Patreon. Okay. Because if they are a member of my Patreon, they've actually already gotten this. They got a digital copy of it, not the actual hand-drawn one like I'm about to give away now, but they still have a copy of it. Come on, yours between 1 and 100. All right, here we go. Closest to it. It was 90 for the year I was born in. This dude right here, Brian I know for a fact I've never said that username. So you were not a member of my Patreon, which is good. You fit that criteria. But here's the thing. I'm going to go to your channel right now, Brian. And if you aren't subscribed, I'm going to pick someone else because that was the giveaway requirement. Brian, let's see, participants. If he's smart, he'll hurry up and go and subscribe if he isn't. But you gotta it be public. Go to channels. Oh, he doesn't have his subscriptions public. Damn. I don't want to be a douchebag and be like, oh, okay, I didn't see it. He's saying he's subscribed. Debbie said 90. Are you a patron member, though, Debbie? I thought you were. Okay, so Debbie, you win this. Brian, if you're subscribed, I will send you. Okay, so I'll send both of you guys digital copies of it. Is that okay? Debbie and Brian, get with me on Twitter. Send me a DM on Twitter. If anything, I can make a copy of this and send you both copies of it. Or I guess send Brian the original and Debbie the copy. Let me know. Get with me on Twitter. I've got to continue this live stream. 3 giveaways. All right. So this is going to my boy, Rafael Luna. Shout out, Rafael. This is going to Claudia M. I swear to God, I had no idea. It's not my fault. You got the number right. I know she just gave me $100 on GoFundMe, and it kind of seems a little bit sketch, but I promise you that's not how it went. That's why I did 2 more live giveaways after that. This is going to be split. Please go on Twitter and DM me on Twitter. Go follow me at Sir_Hunts. Brian and Debbie Ooby Booby. I think it's what that said. All right, so continuing on here, right? Set these aside. Continuing on with the live stream. I have some comments from my patrons and questions that I want to address right now. All right, so every week when I do these live streams, I post multiple days ahead of time on Patreon to let people know, hey, I'm going to be doing this. If you have any topics or questions that you want to address concerning this live stream, and I'll list whatever topic it is. This one was, books to show. Let me know. Right. So the first one is from the North Must Remember. Go follow him here on YouTube. He's a mod in the chat. He says, first question, let's say Winds of Winter gets released. What's your plan for content? Character by character breakdown, overall opinion, or maybe an MTV like confession cam, like a set of 30-second hot takes after every POV. Okay, so to the last part, I can't do short content. Like people have recommended me making shorts and stuff. The only thing, like there's 3 things that'll make a video do well on my channel. If it's more than like 12 minutes, right? But so no less than 12 minutes, but no more than like 20 minutes. And then also leaked. It's leaked in the title. So House of the Dragon plot leak. If I make a title, if I title a video, that's gonna do well for my channel, right? And then the other thing is like, and I'm still learning this, is how often to upload and how long to wait in between uploads. So those are the 3 criteria that will affect videos on my channel. And obviously the shadow ban, which I can't do anything about. I thought hitting 100,000 will make it go away. That's not the case. So if Winds of Winter gets released in this off season for her House of the Dragon season 2, my plan is to break down every single chapter. I'll probably be doing like multiple live streams a week. I'll probably finish like a good chunk of the book before I even do a part of that, but I'm sure I'll blaze through it. Like I'll probably be staying up all night drinking coffee, finding out what the hell happens to these characters that we've all waited so long to learn the fate of. But that's probably my plan. Just immediately read and then go straight to live stream or with videos sprinkled in. But it's easy to just sort of as soon as I read something to either go live or make a video right away because it's fresh in my head. So that'll be the immediate plan if Winds of Winter comes out. But as far as like 30-second hot takes, I can't do that kind of content here on YouTube. Like some people, their channel, they have enough subscribers, they can upload, or they'll have a smaller amount of subscribers. And because of that, like this sounds bougie, right? But if you're a YouTuber, or if you're watching YouTube and a YouTube uploads 3 videos over the course of a week, one of those videos has 10,000 views, one of those videos has 2,000 views, and another one of those videos has 36,000 views. But the one with 36,000 views has already came out like several days ago and it's no longer relevant. People are still going to click on that video with 36,000 views because they see, oh, obviously there's some information that's shared in there. I want to know that first. And then by the time they watch that video and they see the other 2 videos with less views, they're probably not going to click on it because it's like a thing. Like I catch myself doing that when I'm subscribed to like 70 people here on YouTube. When they upload often and it's been several days before I can catch up on their videos, I'm going to watch the one with the most views first. And then after that, I'm satisfied. I'm not going to watch those videos that have less views. So it's difficult to just pour content out because, like, for instance, the video that I released less than 24 hours after my season 2 leaked video that got like 20,000 views, I worked so much harder on that video that was 14 minutes. It took me an extra day and a half because I had to re-edit everything. It's got 3,000 views. So I made like literally $15 off of it. So for 7 hours of work, I made $15 off of that video. And then the one before that I spent less work on kind of made up for that, but then the next 2 suffered because that one video only had 3,000 views. So it's YouTube is insane. So that's why I'm doing my Patreon to get to no longer rely on YouTube's ad revenue. It not only is it unfair for the amount of work that I put into a video for it to not get as many views as the other videos, but it's also really unfair to my mental health to be like, oh, you're not good enough. You didn't do good enough in this video. It'd be like if you went into a day of work, clocked out, and your boss was like, yo, my dude, I'm only going to pay you for half of today because, well, hey, you didn't get as many people watching it. You know what I mean? It's something stupid like that. But anyway, and then your second question from the Northwestern member says, do you think there's any significance to Rhaenyra's blood being spilled using cat's paw and then her blood later being used to kill the Night King? Anything there? Now, I have actually answered this before, and to just sort of add to it, I think like that knife Well, here's an easy take on. I didn't say this last time. That knife has actually been re-hilted, right? So that's a different hilt. It's still dragon bone, but ultimately the design is different, right? It's probably been switched around multiple times, and in that process, the blade's probably been heated. And when it got heated, Rainier's blood was probably no longer on it. If you combine it with all the other people that have been cut by it, so, that's obviously Catelyn, Littlefinger's killed by it, the Night King himself. When it was owned by Aegon, it was probably, it could have been used in the Century of Blood. So that knife could have been used by one of the Targaryen lords after Aenor the Exile and Daenerys the Dreamer came over. And that 100-year time span known as the Century of Blood, where basically little Valyrias kept popping up all over the place. It's like a giant, when a powerhouse like Valyria goes out, there's a power vacuum. So there's a bunch of people fighting for, power and trying to lay claim to the former lands of Valyria that weren't directly affected by the Doom, right? So obviously anything outside of the 14 Flames, there was a power struggle over there. That knife could have even been used for something over there during that time frame after Aenor the Exile and Daenerys the Dreamer leaves, before Aegon conquers Westeros. There probably was some significance to that knife before it was used. And if we see how it was forged, and then take into consideration the fact that it was originally Aegon's, then it was Viserys, and then it was Rhaenyra's, or really it should have been Rhaenyra's, but then Alicent used it to cut Rhaenyra, and now Aegon 2 has it, and it may be used to kill Aegon 2. Like, Aegon 2 is technically poisoned. Like, he goes for one last ride around the city, and his favorite red wine is poisoned, right? And that's supposed to be Corlys and Larys who do that. Maybe the knife is used to kill him. Who knows? I don't know. It's hard to say. We need some more context around it, but thank you for your support, my dude. And then I got 2 more here. They're both from the same user. Now, if you're on my Patreon and I didn't get your comment on this, that's why I tried to post this beforehand. I'm sorry for that. But Fallon Marie says, I hope they don't, thank you for your support, says, I hope they don't do what they did with Rhaenyra and Harwin with Daemon and Nettles. I'm very curious to see if they're going to show in depth in that whole situation. So if you don't know, Nettles and Daemon, like, Nettles claims sheep stealer, and then when Daemon, after Rhaenyra takes King's Landing, Daemon goes back to Harrenhal with Nettles, and they're in the Riverlands, right? Not necessarily directly back to Harrenhal, but I guess they go to Maidenpool. They're in the Riverlands, but they grow really close. And according to the different accounts that we have in Fire and Blood, Daemon taught Rhaenyra how to take a bath. He would bathe with her. He would teach her how to comb her hair, how to clean herself. He was in love with her. Their relationship was like a father-daughter, but also Daemon is Daemon, so he was probably fucking her. It depends how they make the relationship go, but one thing I can say is that your fear is unwarranted, because the show is going to be taking its time to tell the rest of the story all the way out. Ryan Kondo said it in the most recent interview, or the first interview he did after the season ended. He's like, these characters are who they are. There's no more time jumps. No one's going to be recasted. So everybody in their form that they are now is going to be in that way until the story ends. So with that being said, we're definitely going to get probably several episodes of Daemon and Nettles. In my opinion, Nettles is Daemon's true love. Like, people say Rhaenyra was his true love. First of all, true love is bullshit. But Rhaenyra never bonded with Daemon the way that Nettles and Daemon will bond, and that's through war, through being mutual dragon riders. Like, Daemon and Rhaenyra might have done that in her youth, but they were never living their best life. Like, Daemon and Rhaenyra are sort of running from Aemond and Alice at the same time, but not really, right? So they're kind of just, it's hard to explain, but like, when you're at war and you think you're going to die, you live life to the fullest. And Daemon does that with Nettles. So Nettles and Daemon bond over that. And, he doesn't love Rhaenyra in the end. Like, people say that he willingly goes to go kill himself because, he received word that Rhaenyra wanted to kill Nettles and that he was going to be taken prisoner, right, at Maidenpool. That's not the case. He realized, oh, well, she definitely, realized that It doesn't matter what he thought, but he didn't go kill himself because Rhaenyra broke up with him. He was already over Rhaenyra, right? So, your other thing is, so I don't have the same fear of Daemon and Neville's being skipped over. I'm pretty sure their story is going to be told all the way out. And then your other comment says, I also am curious whether or not we will see any announcements or inside scoop about this Jon Snow show before the second season of Hot D. And I just can't wait to see the connection between the show and Game of Thrones when it comes to the dagger. So to answer the first part of your question is, I'm just curious or not whether we'll see announcements or inside scoops about the Jon Snow show before the second season. Now, there was rumors because Casey Bloys, the programming director for HBO, said they're not going to be releasing anything for 2024, the off-season for House of the Dragon. There was rumors that we're probably not going to get any information about the Jon Snow show, but you got to realize Casey Bloys is not the final say-so in everything. Jon Snow is the showrunner on this. Maybe Casey doesn't know, but they have a convention in December in Las Vegas, and it's going to have Jon Snow there. They've never done that before. They've had conventions about Game of Thrones, but they're never officially through HBO. So HBO is making this the first ever official Game of Thrones convention. Theon's going to be there. Jon Snow, obviously, right? Probably even more people as we get closer to it, which is like next month. There has to be Jon Snow show either confirming to be greenlit, and they're going to be starting the filming process, which means they've probably already started casting the show. They've probably already started writing the scripts. There's no way they would squander that opportunity where they're going to have all that many eyes on them. And then also, it's a few months after House of the Dragon season 1 ends, so it's not taking away from any of that shine. I initially thought that they would have been filming it this whole time, so then next year they could give it to us, but that's obviously not the case. What I will say is that whatever information does come out about the Jon Snow show, I just hope it's like a little bit revealing towards the plot. So that would be character confirmations that they're telling us who's going to be joining Jon Snow in this show, aside from Tormund and Ghost. That would probably reveal more information about the plot. I thought I saw a super chat from the North Must Remember. I want to make sure I respond to that. There we go. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, what do you think about the painted table pics I sent you on Twitter? I think they look awesome. I wish you had posted that on your actual Twitter, like as a tweet, so I could retweet it. I didn't know if you wanted me to do that, which is why I didn't share it. But thank you for that super chat, man. Mario TV says, Sir Hunts, my guy, what's up, buddy? Mad Jack, whoop, whoop. Honestly, that's the best that Ramsey has ever looked. Oh, the drawing? Yes. That's funny. Do we have to bribe you to win? Just kidding. You cool. Bribe me. No, I gave those away. No. That's why I picked 3 different people, so that way no one can say that. Rob Brethian, give me the goat head, you bloody bat. Yeah, right. I ordered that thing off Etsy. Talk about that. I ordered that. That's a ram, technically. I ordered that off of Etsy like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was like $60. And I told myself I would never paint it because it's all white, but that's not the case. I'm probably gonna paint it black and then paint the horns red because I think that would be cool. How did Littlefinger get cat's paw? From a bet. So it was at Joffrey's name day tourney. And Littlefinger, Robert Baratheon, maybe Jaime Lannister all had a bet going. And it was about who would untilt who. And that Robert ended up losing, and Littlefinger got the possession of the dagger. Actually, kind of makes sense that Robert initially had it because he probably got it from the Mad King's possessions, who then got it from the king before him, and all that other shit was just been passed down. Someone gave it to the thief to kill Breanne. Yep. Dang, work meetings, missed half the live. It's all good. You can still go back and watch it. If this time frame is too inconvenient initially, in a few months from now, I'll try to change it. But right now, my girlfriend has the time off from work. She's watching the kids. This is really the only time it would work. Honestly, I would pick another day because In Deep Geek, Robert from In Deep Geek, is doing his live stream today. And obviously, I'm not trying to compete with him or take away from anything that he does because he's been doing his live streams on Thursday for so long. It's just Thursday is just the only day I could do it at this time. I'm not super pumped to see snow if the snow in the snow if there be dragons. That's a different story. Yeah, well, maybe. I'm not a big fan of him claiming Drogon. I know that was a thing going. Yes, Sir _ Hunts or at Dragon Daddy. What's up, JS Holgerson? Also, go on Instagram, right? And go wish the Cargo Twins happy birthday. Elliot and Luke Tittenzor. This is their birthday today. George is taking so damn long to finish the books. Northwestern said he does a lot of patron-only content. Yes, there are 12 episodes of my podcast up there right now, and those have never been uploaded to YouTube. So is this dagger connected to blood magic? We don't know. I'm hoping if we find out the original owner, right? Not just Anar the Exile, but even before him, like Valyrian Steel. Okay, so this is how badass Valyrian Steel is. When Aegon the Conqueror dies, he's wearing his full armor, and he's in between two mailed fists, he's clutching Blackfire, right? After he's burned, Blackfire is it's unaffected. It just gets darker. So it means in Damascus Steel or in Valyrian Steel world, it just gets stronger, right? So this is similar thing that happens with Ned's sword Ice when it gets turned into Oathkeeper, right? The sword that is split in half from the two of those. Like Valyrian Steel and its rippling abilities and how dark it gets. There's like a mystery where people say, we don't know the Valyrian Steel recipe, but if you read the first Game of Thrones book, George tells us the recipe. We get told that dragon bone is lighter than steel and stronger than steel. And then you also hear that dragon steel, right, Valyrian steel, when it's being talked about, is mentioned how it's lighter and stronger than regular steel, but it's still steel. Literally, there's the recipe right there. You just need dragon flame to melt dragon bone, and you have dragon steel, right? So there's like, in order to turn iron into steel, you need a carbon element, right? I was thinking for a while that could be dragon glass. No, dragon bone. Dragon bone itself has so much of a wrought iron content, it's black. That's why we saw Balerion's skull on the TV show being black. Dan and Dave didn't do their homework and made the skulls white on the TV show, and that's stupid. But dragon Valyrian steel itself, the recipe for it is literally just dragon bone, steel, and dragon fire. Probably some blood magic rituals mixed in with that. Like the blood magic itself is a thing because the dragon is being controlled by blood magic by a Targaryen blacksmith or by a Valyrian blacksmith. So there could potentially be some in there. And also, thank you for joining my patron. I noticed you just became a member the other day. Thank you for joining. Long night, indeed. Would you rather have Aegon's Conquest show or Blackfire Rebellion? Both. I want both. Aegon's Conquest because we get to see Vhagar, Balerion when he's alive, but also you get to see a younger version of Vhagar, and then also Rhaenys' dragon, Meraxes. It's more of a self-contained show. It could be only like 2 seasons, and it would really give the average show watcher some history as to why people keep referring to this dude Aegon the Conqueror, how the Iron Throne was forged, also the significance of why dragons play into the Song of Ice and Fire with Aegon's prophecy dream, right? So maybe he fights White Walkers initially or something that could be added for the TV show. Like, I want both. But then the Blackfire Rebellion is after we've seen the dragons, right? And then that's the Dunk and Egg show. So we are kind of getting it. So that's why I want it, right? We're getting it already. People were saying that it got canceled, but what they don't realize is that when George was talking about that in the Random House interview, he was mentioning how in 2016 he pitched House of the Dragon, right? Fire and Blood, which became House of the Dragon, and also the Dunk and Egg Show, and they turned down the Dunk and Egg Show back then, but not now. Not now. Now it's been in production. It's got a writer. They're probably already starting to cast people, and it's coming. So both of those, in my opinion. Paramountain says, considering they Dracarys their meat before they eat it, I'm sure they eat pure charcoal. Okay, you're talking about something else. Thank you. I don't not. I'm quite sure we will see Viserys Valyrian models again in a new series. So Baelor is the one who has Baelor the Blessed, Baelor the idiot who walked through the Prince's Pass into Dorne and then list. Yes, God, Baelor is such an idiot. Baelor is the one who probably takes out the Weirwood tree in King's Landing. People were asking how on the TV show they're going to have that happen. It's probably going to be mentioned that Baelor is the one who takes it out. But I think it would be really interesting to see Viserys' Valyrian model, referring to this, destroyed on the show. Maybe Aegon, in his fury, at Sir Otto, or maybe when Maelor, or I guess when Jaehaerys dies, right, his son, his heir, he could destroy it in frustration. It would actually make more sense for Aemon to destroy it, because there's literally a gargoyle that looks exactly like a pig, right? The pink dread. Maybe Aemon finds that and thinks that it's like one last jape by his dad, and he destroys it out of rage after Blood and Cheese happens. I'm not sure, but I don't think we'll see it past House of the Dragon. Maybe it's possible. Perhaps my prince recalls when I knocked him off his horse. That's a good line. Crispin, Sir Crispin Cole. Crispin, was it? It's funny because crisp in England means chip. It means potato chip. So, Crispin Cole, you're a potato chip. Yes. And for no reason. No reason. I might say curse words in my videos. I might talk my opinion from a male's perspective, from a straight male's perspective. And that may be, no, that's not even it, because I don't disrespect anybody in doing that. Like, I saw a comment from one of my subscribers here say that one of the reasons, or one of my patron members, actually, one of the reasons why I may be getting shadow banned is because my comments towards women. And I went back and listened to the video they're talking about, and I honestly am clueless. What in the hell? Like, I'm allowed to say when I think someone is attractive, especially if I'm talking about that character on the show. I'm allowed to do that. Have you heard how women talk about some men? All right. That is bullshit. I'll talk about women the same way women talk about men, as long as I'm not openly disrespecting them. First of all, it's a fictional character, but as long as I'm not openly disrespecting them, that's the only thing I could think of. Like, it's stupid. I don't say anything. I'm not like being racist or any, like, it doesn't make any kind of sense. I don't know why they're doing it. After the dragons get him, he'll be a crispy corn. Exactly. But he doesn't, in canon, he doesn't get eaten by dragons. What ends up happening is he leads a host of, initially it's like 500 men when he leaves King's Landing, but then he just keeps getting forces added on, right? And he makes his way to Harrenhal, and then him and Aemon end up splitting up, right? So this is towards the end of the war. Aemon leaves with Vhagar and Alice Rivers to go and search for Daemon at Harrenhal, or in the Riverlands, right? Because he thinks Daemon is the biggest threat. And then Criston Cole leads most of their forces to try. He tries to convince Aemon to go and meet up with Daeron and Tessarion and then bolster their forces all together and then go take out Daemon and then Rhaenyra and King's Landing. But Aemon is kind of like going rogue, and he wants the victory between or the fight between Daemon and Caraxes and him and Vhagar to be his alone. And he's like, I don't need, Aegon and Sunfire or Daeron and Tessarion. So Cole is left stranded, right? His men end up getting like basically bled a little bit. Like they suffer from fatigue. They run out of food. They get chased around in the Riverlands by Rhaenyra's bannermen, and they're like just slowly picked off. And initially what happens is Cole is cornered, right? And he's talking with basically he basically says, look, I'll take on all 4 of you dudes versus me as long as you let my men who are tattered and battered and ruined at this point, as long as you let them live, right? I will fight all 4 of you guys for that, right? And basically dude's like, no, hear none of that. And this guy named Rob Rivers, who's supposed to be the best archer in the Riverlands, puts 4 arrows through Cole, like through his neck, through his leg, and that's how Cole dies. So he doesn't actually get killed by dragons. Sir Hunts, do you think season 2, episode 1 will be Damon ordering blood and cheese? Go back and watch. I kind of already answered that at the beginning of this. Is there someone who works on Hot D called Crispin? Yes, there's a dude, like he's a producer, maybe, or something. He's got a credit in the show, so that's his. There's yes. What's this? I like how Matt Damon went grinding down the rail like a skateboard. Are you talking about Rap himself? Did y'all know Rap himself from CKY is a cousin of Matt Damon? Look it up. Preach. All right. So I'm scanning the chat looking for questions related to what I was saying. Here we go. He should have been eaten. He's a punk. They may change his death, but I prefer them not to. There's certain deaths that I kind of want to be changed, like Sir Otto is just beheaded, right? It'd be cool if he's fed to a dragon. But for the most part, Cole's death is perfect because it's inglorious, and when he's killed, they're like, yo, I'll have thousands are dead on your account. I'll have no one else dead. So they just drop him right then and there. It's not a glorious fight like how he wants. He gets a death that's sort of unworthy for someone like him, but is actually perfectly worthy for his character, especially for the TV show. Oh. And you called him Matt Damon. So were you around when I kept calling Matt Smith Matt Damon? Because there's memes of that online, but that I hate saying this, but I fucking started that. I literally was like trying to, okay, I guess maybe the same thing that happened to me could happen to other people. But is that where you're saying that from? Because if so, shout out, dude. You've been watching me for a minute. Like, I know you've been watching me for a while. I recognize the username, but I remember I was so frustrated with myself in a video. Literally, I'm like, why do I keep calling this motherfucker Matt Damon? It's so annoying. But yeah. What the hell? All right, I think I'm gonna be wrapping this one up. But don't worry, I'll be live again next week. Same time, same day, Thursday, 12:30 p.m. Everybody that won these, please respond. Send me a DM on Twitter so I can get this done. Send these out. I'll try to have them sent out by Saturday. Today's Thursday, so Saturday, maybe Monday at the latest. I'll give you a tracking code once I get that. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Please slap a like on this. I'm probably going to be discussing similar next week. I haven't decided quite what the topic will be. It'd be fun to go further back in Fire and Blood and talk about Aegon's conquest and maybe the reign of Jaehaerys or Sons of the Dragon. So Maegor and Aenys, that'd be cool. You all let me know what you think down below or what you want to see. Also, consider joining my Patreon. That's a way, if you join for like, I think $3 is the slot that's open now. Obviously, you could join for $5 or more, but that's just the lowest tier that's available right now. That's because there's 12 episodes of my podcast up there. If you join there, you'll have like dibs on these live streams for when, you know, if you have a question or a topic or something that you want to address. But also, that's just my way of becoming dependent from YouTube's ad revenue. And I just explained heavily why in this live stream. That's really important to me. So thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this live, and thank you to everybody who's watching this now. Also, let me give a shout out to everybody that's typing in the chat right now. Shout out to Sheldon McLeod, Divine Sharika, Gary B, John Haymaker, Luis Hernandez, Mad Jack, Riley Range, Riley Rains, the Couch Stallion, and Zeus Bemnet, and Nancy R. All right.